ఇది ఎన్లార్జ్ అవ్వట్లేదు. అదే కాదు ఎన్లార్జ్ అవ్వదా అని. యా Okay, good morning. We have done enough of the theoretical classes have become more, so we'll start with practical clinical classes from today onwards. So most probably every Thursday we'll be dealing with cardiovascular system, and Friday you'll be dealing with a neurological examination. To start with, today we'll start the cardiovascular system. This will be more of like a question and answer session, just to brush up your knowledge. Am I audible to everyone? Okay, now I'll just randomly pick up your roll numbers, and you need to, actually you're all in unmute pattern. So I'll be picking up the students and you need to answer. Roll number 88. Roll number 88, can you hear me? Roll number 88. One second, there's some technical issues. Admit all లేదండి. Just one second. Just bear with me. There's some really technical issues. I'll just get to this. Just please let me know through the chat box whether I'm audible to you. Just can't find this admit all option. There are only 64 participants. Am I missing one somehow? I think I will manually need to admit all the people. Oh God. Okay, we are done. I've allowed all the people in the waiting room into the session. Okay. Okay, coming to roll number 88. We'll start with the same number again. 88, unmute yourself. And can you give us an idea about cardiac cycle? Roll number 88. Oh God. Video is not being projected. Okay, anyways, I don't know how this question and answer session is going to be. It's me talking one way. One second. Roll number 75. Unmute yourself. Roll number 75. Roll number 75. Roll number 75. Please unmute yourself. Can you hear me? 77. Roll number 77. Unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me something about cardiac cycle? Say something about cardiac cycle which you have learned in your physiology, the basic sciences.
It's the from the beginning of one heart sound to the another heart sound.
What is the duration of the cardiac cycle?
0.8 second.
0.8 seconds. Like, which is the major component of the cardiac cycle, a systole or a diastole? Major duration which is occupied by
Systole.
systole or the diastole? Out of the 0.8 seconds, your 0.3 seconds only is occupied by the systole.
Diastole.
Rest of the 0.5 seconds is covered by the diastole. Okay.
Okay.
Can you name the steps in the cardiac cycle? Like, okay, your cardiac cycle starts with S1. What is S1 due to? First heart sound is produced due to? I'm so sorry you are not able to see the video because I'm not able to help it. The person operating over here is on leave. So I'm able to share the screen. So please bear with me. Yeah. Tell me what is the first heart sound because of?
Due to closure of mitral and tricuspid valve.
Okay, due to closure of the mitral and the tricuspid valves. Okay, now the mitral and the tricuspid valves have closed. So next what will happen? Both your mitral valve, like atrioventricular valves and the aortic and the pulmonary valves are closed. So it is a closed chamber, right?
Yes.
So after that, isovolumetric contraction will happen. Understood?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, following the isovolumetric contraction, what will happen? Next, after that, what will happen?
S2.
In between, there's a lot of things happening, right? Your ventricular systole. After isovolumetric contraction, your aortic and the pulmonary valves will open. Usually, valve opening will not produce any sound. Only valve closing will cause your sounds. Your S1 is because of the aortic and pulmonary valve opening. Closing, sorry, like your S1 is because of the atrioventricular valve closing, that is your mitral and the tricuspid valve closing. So after they close, isovolumetric contraction will occur. So after isovolumetric contraction, your aortic and the pulmonary valves will open. So once the aortic and pulmonary valve open, what will happen to the blood in the ventricle?
Ventricular ejection.
Yeah, ventricular ejection. Ejection means your ventricular systole will happen. So your ventricle will start contracting and the blood will be pushed into the aorta. So that is a ventricular systole phase. After the blood is being ejected, then the aortic and pulmonary valves will close. That is causing the second heart sound. That is S2. Understood?
Yes.
Then after this S2, what will happen? Now your AV valves are closed. Your aortic and pulmonary valves also will close. The diastolic phase.
Ventricular filling.
No. Still the AV valves are not open, right? Isovolumetric relaxation will occur. Understood?
Okay.
So after the isovolumetric relaxation, the pressure will come down and then your AV valve will open.
Okay.
After that, your rapid ventricular filling will happen. It happens in three phases: rapid ventricular filling, a slow diastasis phase, and then followed by the final atrial contraction, that is the atrial kick. Your rapid ventricular filling might cause your S3 sound. Understood?
Okay.
Then is S3 pathological or physiological? And S4. S4 is because of
Pathological.
atrial contraction. It's always pathological. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
S4 is always pathological. One second. Yeah. See, this is your cardiac cycle. This is the animation I wanted to show over here. I don't think it's working. You can see the pressure waves, the volumetric waves over here. Okay, you're 75, right?
77, ma'am.
77. Okay, and mute yourself.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll number 88. Unmute yourself. Roll number 88. Roll number 88, are you there? Roll number 88. Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Roll number 88. Okay, roll number 84. In that. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Roll number 84. Unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Here I'll be showing some wave patterns. Can you explain this wave pattern? I'm telling cardiac cycle because there's a part of your essay question. It will be a long answer, long question. Can you describe the waveforms depicted over here? Are you able to see this page? Are you able to hear me, ma? Roll number 84. Okay, starting with we'll start with the first line is the S1. That is because of, that is what we just spoke in the previous few minutes. S1 is because of the valve opening. The atrioventricular valves will open. So your mitral will describe the left part of the heart. So your mitral, like valve closing, your mitral valve closes. So what will happen? The mitral valve and the aortic valve are both closed. So it is a closed chamber. In that closed chamber, contraction will start. That is called isovolumetric contraction. Following that, your aortic valve will open. So after it opens, the blood starts flowing into the aorta. That is the ejection phase. That is the ventricular systole phase. And then as the systole happens, the isovolumetric relaxation will start because your aortic or the pulmonary valves will close. The closure causes your second heart sound. After that, it is a closed chamber and ventricular diastole will start. That is the isovolumetric relaxation phase. Then after that, you can see, yeah, this is the pointer. Here, see, your mitral valve will be opening over here. So, and then this gap is isovolumetric relaxation. After that, your mitral valve opens, and then rapid inflow of blood will be there. So, rapid inflow of blood will be there into the aorta. This is the rapid filling phase. Then pressure gradient will come down, like between the two, the pressure will almost equalize. That is the slow filling phase. That is the diastasis. And towards the end, what will happen? The atria will start contracting. Towards the end of the ventricular diastole, the atria will start contracting. So that is the final atrial kick. That will push your rest 20% of the blood. So again, the mitral valve closes. This causes S1. This is your cardiac cycle. Now you are seeing the ventricular pressure. Ventricular pressure in your contraction phase, it is increasing, and diastole phase, it is filling. Coming to the aortic pressure as ventricular ejection happens, your aorta is being filled and the pressure decreases and increases, and in the diastole phase, it is maintained. Coming to the ventricular volume also in the ejection phase, the blood is being pushed into the aorta, so the ventricular volume will come down. And in the diastolic phase, what is happening? It is at the end of the diastolic phase, this is the rapid ventricular filling, diastasis, and the late ventricular filling. So the volume is increasing. So this is the way you will explain. And roll number 20. Roll number 20, unmute yourself. Roll number 20, unmute yourself. Can you please tell me what is this ACV? What are these ACV waves in this picture? Roll number 20. Roll number 20. Can you hear me? Roll number 20. Roll number 83. Roll number 83. See, this session is mainly for you to answer, not for me to tell the theoretical part again. Roll number 83. Roll number 39. Okay. Can't able to unmute. What's the problem?
Ma'am.
Yeah, 39. Roll number 39.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what are the A, C, and V waves in this picture?
JVP from
Yeah, good.
JVP.
Your A wave is because of the atrial contraction. You saw, so it is corresponding to the atrial contraction. If you remember this picture, your JVP is also easy. It is depicted over here. C wave is because of the
Ventricular.
ventricular. Yeah, it's something. It's JVP only. It's a basic question, ma. How many waves are there in JVP? What is ACXVY?
ACV. Three waves, ma'am.
No. Your JVP, like what are the things you'll be describing in your JVP?
X, Y,
Yeah.
descent, Y, descent.
A, C, V are positive waves and X and Y are descents.
Yes, ma'am.
A wave is because of, yes, you told. What you told? Yeah, atrial contraction. That is, see, A wave is corresponding to atrial systole. See, you can see over here. A wave is corresponding to atrial systole, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is the X descent happening? See, this is your X descent. See, this is your initial
Yes,
X
ma'am.
descent and this is your X dash. Why is the X descent? Because of, see, I'll tell you. After contraction, atrial contraction, what is happening? Ventricular systole is happening. If your ventricle is in systole, what will your atria be in? Atria will be in its diastole, right? In its relaxation phase. You got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
When your ventricle is in systole, your atria is automatically in relaxation phase, right? So your initial A wave is because of atrial contraction, and this X descent is because your atria will start relaxing from here. Okay? And why is the C wave occurring?
Ventricular contraction.
Oh, that's what. See, what is happening? Like how your ventricular contraction will affect the atria.
Due to tricuspid bulging.
Yeah, tricuspid, it is bulging. It is bulging into the atria. So again, you're having a small positive wave. Understood?
Yeah.
Your B wave is because of,
Yes, ma'am.
B wave is because of venous return into the atria. Okay? Y wave is because of,
Yes, ma'am.
Y wave. This is Y descent is because of rapid emptying of the atria into the ventricle. Okay? A wave is because of atrial contraction.
Okay.
X descent is because of atrial relaxation. C wave is bulging of the tricuspid valve into the atrium. V wave is because of the venous return, more blood return coming to the atrium. And Y descent. Y descent is because of rapid filling of the into the ventricle. Understood? RA is directly entering into the ventricle during the ventricular diastole. So that will cause your Y descent. That's where the atria pressure is coming down. Okay, you can mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, coming to the next part. Okay. Next, roll number 4. Roll number 4. Roll number 4, unmute yourself. Roll number 4. Roll number 4, unmute yourself. Okay, roll number 104, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you define what is pulse? Can you define pulse? Is it roll number 4 or 44?
Hello.
Hello? Is it roll number 4 or 44? Huh?
104, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, 104, sorry.
One.
Can you define pulse?
Rhythmic waves corresponding to heart rate.
Okay. It is a pressure contraction wave because of the LV contraction. So it starts from the heart and then which as a like a peristaltic move you see. It is transmitted to the peripheries and which is present in the peripheral blood vessel against a bony prominence. So that would be your definition of pulse. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can mute yourself. You can mute yourself. 104, you can mute yourself. Roll number 64. 64. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What are the types of pulse you know?
Carrot.
And where all you check the pulse? I'm not asking what are the arteries you check the pulse.
Atrial and venous.
Okay, what are the characteristics of a pulse? How will you how do you want to describe a pulse?
By its rate,
Rate?
flow of the character,
Okay.
rhythm,
Okay.
and
Volume.
while assessing volume.
Okay, volume, rate, rhythm, volume, character.
And
See, in your
don't
general examination, you'll be telling right, like 72 beats per minute in the right arm, right radial, and all. You'll be telling what is. You'll be commenting about the rate, rhythm, character, volume. You'll check for all peripheral pulses. You'll check for any radio-radial delay, radio-femoral delay. So all this you'll be telling right.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, Regarding rate, I want you to answer what is the relation of your heart rate with the temperature. How does it fluctuate with temperature? What is the relative tachycardia? What is relative bradycardia? See, rate means your sinus brady. If I ask, you will tell 60, less than 60. If I ask tachy, you will tell what is sinus tachycardia means you will tell more than 100. So that is a normal. What is relative tachycardia? What is relative bradycardia?
Increases.
For your every 1 degree Fahrenheit increase in temperature, your heart rate will increase by 10 beats.
Yes.
Your relative tachycardia, it's seen in rheumatic carditis, diphtheric myocarditis, and tuberculosis. Brady is seen in your typhoid fever, first week of typhoid fever. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Coming to the rhythm, you will be telling regular rhythm. What are the causes of irregular rhythm?
Arrhythmia.
Yeah, okay. What type of arrhythmias? Regularly, what is the regularly irregular and what are the causes of irregular irregular?
Regular and irregular rhythms. For regular, it's atrial, ventricle, atrial trachyarrhythmias, sinus arrhythmias.
What is the cause of your regularly irregular pulse? Atrial tachyarrhythmias you are telling. Atrial tachyarrhythmias with a fixed block. They will cause regularly irregular pulse. Or your ventricular bigeminus and trigeminus. Understood? What is
Yes.
the cause of irregularly irregular pulse? Most common.
Extra system.
Irregularly irregular pulse. A complication.
Ventricular atrial fibrillation, ventricular.
Atrial fibrillation, ventricular premature contractions.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of irregularly irregular pulse. And also atrial tachyarrhythmias with varying block. With a fixed block will cause regular with a fixed block will cause a regularly irregular pulse. With an varying AV block will cause irregularly irregular pulse. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, unmute yourself. Sorry, mute yourself. Thank you. And next coming to roll number 34. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How do you check the apex pulse deficit? See, you are given a cardiovascular case, it's a mitral stenosis. You want to check patient is having atrial fibrillation or not. Okay. You want to check for apex pulse deficit to see if the patient is having irregular pulse. To see if the patient is having AF or patient is having maybe an extra systole, that is the ventricular contractions. How do you decide? By apex pulse deficit. What is the method you will elicit a apex pulse deficit?
We see the difference between the heart rate and the pulse rate, ma'am.
Yeah. In the exam only you are available, right? You will not be getting any help. So if two persons are there, one person will be checking the heart rate and one person will be counting the pulse rate for a whole 1 minute. Only you are available. So how will you check the apex pulse deficit?
Don't know.
See, only you are the examiner. So you are the only one person is available. So what you will do is you check the pulse. You will auscultate at the same time. See, whenever you are able to auscultate and you are not able to feel the peripheral pulse,
Okay.
you are not able to feel, means whenever you are having a deficit over here, you are hearing a heartbeat, but you didn't feel a pulse. Count those number. Understood?
Okay.
Count the number of missing radial pulses. Where
Okay.
you heard the heart rate. So that will tell you the apex pulse deficit. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
If one person is available, that has to be done. You check the number of missing radial beats, where you got the heartbeat, but you heard the heartbeat, but you didn't get the radial pulse. That is called apex pulse deficit. If it is more than 10, it
Atrial fibrillation.
atrial fibrillation. If it is less than 10, it could be a VPC. What are the other differences? How do you differentiate a VPC from atrial fibrillation? One is your apex pulse deficit. Other things?
S1, ma'am.
S1?
S1 variable intensity in atrial fibrillation.
Okay, yeah.
Normal.
Okay. What
And
is the
hand grip also we can differentiate.
dynamic maneuvers? What will happen?
In hand grip, atrial fibrillation, it persists, ma'am.
Okay.
Regularity will be there, irregularity in pulse. In VPC, pulse will become regular, ma'am, on hand grip.
Pulse will become regular because your like exercise induced, that is whatever it is, dynamic methods, dynamic maneuvers. Okay, good. Mute yourself. Thank you. Okay. This is all what is discussed. Okay. More than 10 it is atrial fibrillation, pulse deficit less than 10 it is VPCs. Method of examination also we have done double examiner. If two are available, then each will be checking individually for 1 full minute. Single person is there, you will just identify the missing beats. Yeah. Next, roll number 92. Unmute yourself. 92. Unmute yourself. 92. You are not able to unmute. Okay, 64, unmute yourself. Roll number 64, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good, 64. What is the picture showing here, which is shown over here? This is a pulse waveform. It is normal or is it abnormal? It's a normal pulse waveform. See, your P is your percussion wave, and then you'll be having your this call is your tidal wave, and then you have your dichrotic D. Your D point, this point is your dichrotic notch. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a normal pulse wave. The normal pulse wave is also called as catachrotic wave. You are able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a normal pulse wave. Why is the percussion wave? Because of cause of percussion wave.
Don't know, ma'am.
See, your LV, it is contracting. It is pushing the wave, like it is pushing the volume into the aorta. So your aorta is distending. That distended wave only is transmitted to the peripheries. So that is because of the impulse generated by the LV ejection. LV contraction generates a percussion wave. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the tidal wave. Tidal wave is because of the, like, once this wave is passing, again it is being reflected from the peripheries. From the upper limb it is reflected, from the lower limb also it is reflected. So the waveform which is coming back, which is reflected back from the upper limb causes a tidal wave. Understood? The waveform which is reflected from the lower limbs, it causes your dichrotic wave. This is your dichrotic wave. This is your percussion wave, tidal wave, dichrotic wave. This is your dichrotic notch. Your dichrotic notch, what will happen? Your S2. Why is your S2 happening? Because of the closure of the aortic and pulmonary valves. That closure, sudden dip in pressure will be there. So that is causing your dichrotic notch. This is your catachrotic pulse, which is a normal pulse waveform. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, I want you to ask, what is a small volume pulse called? Hypokinetic pulse, right?
Yes, ma'am.
See the amplitude. See the amplitude of the previous one.
Hi.
See the amplitude of the previous one, and see the amplitude of this. It's a small volume pulse. It's a hypokinetic pulse. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
This is a large volume pulse. It's a. This is
Hi.
hyperkinetic pulse. This
Yes.
is called pulsus magnus also.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Your hyperkinetic pulse is seen in high output states. Your low volume pulse is seen in your cardiac failure, shock, ASMS. Okay, you can mute yourself.
Thank you.
Roll number one. Roll number 133. 133, unmute yourself. One 133. Please unmute yourself. One 133. Okay. 124, unmute yourself. One 124, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. 124. I'll show you next picture, right? Sorry. This is your slow rising, late peaking pulse. What is it also called as? Slow rising, late peaking. It is also called as slow rising. Yeah. Help me. Slow rise, late peaking. This is your pulses parvus et tardus.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
This is your pulse with a slow rising and a late peaking. It's seen in your severe valvular AS. Understood?
Okay, ma'am.
What is the pulse called? Can you name what is this pulse form called? This is a pulse waveform only. Rapid upstroke, rapid downstroke. Have you heard of collapsing pulse?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How will you demonstrate collapsing pulse? See, at the bedside, your examiner asks you, please demonstrate collapsing pulse. What is the method?
We will palpate the radial artery, ma'am,
Okay, you palpate the radial artery.
and we will trace it proximally.
Okay, trace it proximally.
And we will wrap your wrist around the patient's arm, ma'am.
Okay.
Then we will simultaneously palpate the radial and ulnar arteries.
Okay, ideally it should be done in this way. So I have traced the radial artery to here. Then put your metacarpal heads over there on that and wrap your wrist around the forearm. Then
Okay,
with
ma'am.
the other hand, you will be holding the radial artery. Then
Yes,
what do you want to do?
Then we will raise the patient's hand above the shoulder, ma'am.
Yeah, suddenly raise the, like, there are two hands over here. Think that there is another hand over here and the other one here. And this is the patient's hand. Suddenly you raise the patient's hand above the shoulder level. Then what will
Yes.
be here? What will be the sensation over here? Over the metacarpal head, what will be the sensation?
There will be a knock, ma'am.
Yeah. Here you will be feeling very faintly. And then here you will be seeing as if rapidly something is coming and gushing. Like something is knocking. That is called collapsing pulse.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. This is your rapid upstroke and rapid downstroke. This is called your Corrigan sign, Watson's hammer, water hammer pulse.
Water
The
hammer pulse.
Yeah, it's called Watson's water hammer pulse. That the pulse you are feeling over here in the area is called Watson's water hammer pulse. The sign you are able to feel in carotids is your Corrigan sign.
Corrigan sign.
So that is the difference you need to remember.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the demonstration of the collapsing pulse. Ideally,
Yes, ma'am.
it will be parallel. Then suddenly you will raise like this. This is the way you will feel. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, mute yourself. Good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Roll number 1, unmute yourself. Roll number 1. Roll number 1. Okay, roll number 105. Unmute yourself. One not five. Unmute yourself. One not five. Are you there? See, if you are not following, then this session is mainly for you to answer. Roll number 1. Unmute yourself. Okay. See here, this is the double peak. Then you are having two peaks in your systole. Some problem. More of technical issue. You're having two peaks in your systole. This is double peak in your systole. That is pulsus dysperiens. It is seen in severe AR and AS with AR, HOCM. In HOCM, you will be having your spike and dome pattern. What is this? This is pulsus dichroticus. So you are having one peak in systole and you are having one peak in systole and one peak in diastole. This is your pulsus dichroticus. It is seen in LVF, palpa, dilated cardiomyopathy, and tamponade. One peak in systole and one peak in diastole. Alternating large volume and small volume pulses. This is pulsus alternans. Will be seen in your severe LVF. What is this? A normal beat followed by a premature contraction. This is your bigeminy. Normal beat followed by a premature contraction. This is pulsus bigeminy. It's a sign of digitalis toxicity. What is this showing? Between expiration and inspiration. This is your pulsus paradoxus. Usually this is a normal phenomenon, but it is an exaggeration of a normal phenomenon. Usually there will be an inspiratory decline in BP of SBPO less than 10 mm of Hg. If it is more than 10 mm of Hg, that shows you pulsus paradoxus. But what is the paradox over here? See, initially, how do you check for, how do you demonstrate pulsus paradoxus? You will tie the BP. Patient will be in semi-recumbent position. Okay, and patient will be normally breathing. So you will tie your BP cuff. You will elevate 20 mm above the systolic BP, and then slowly you will deflate the cuff. First, you will hear the first correct cough sound during expiration. Okay, you mark that level. Then you start deflating further down. What will happen? Then you will start hearing correct cough sound. First time when you start hearing correct cough sound, both in expiration and inspiration, you mark that level also. This is the first one where you heard in expiration. This is the first time where you are hearing both in inspiration and expiration. So usually this variation is less than 10 mm. If it is more than 10 mm, that is pulsus paradoxus. What is the cardiac tamponade? What is the paradoxus that will happen? Means sometimes in cardiac tamponade, what will happen? The pulse, difference, it comes too low that sometimes you will not be able to feel the radial pulse, but you will be getting the heart rate. That is the paradox over there. Understood? This is pulsus paradoxus. Reverse pulsus paradoxus means inspiratory rise in arterial pressure. That is seen in HOCM, like a patient on ventilator, and atrioventricular dissociation, isorhythmic atrioventricular dissociation. These are all the pulse waveforms till now we have discussed. This is a normal waveform, slow rising pulse, pulsus parvus et tardus, pulsus bisferiens. That is, you are having two peaks in systole. And then dichrotic pulse, one peak in systole and one peak in diastole. This is the water hammer pulse. Spike and dome pattern, it is seen on HOCM. Pulsus bigeminous. That is, one is your normal pulse and the other one is your ectopic. That is pulsus bigeminous. Your take-home message should be this part, where all the description is given about all the pulse forms. Okay, that ends the session today. See, from now onwards, clinical classes will be taken, like systems will be dealt, and you are supposed to unmute yourself and answer, please. If you are not, this session is mainly for you to answer, because as soon as you get back, you'll be having your, you'll be going for your exam or what, we don't know. Nothing is certain. So you need to brush up your clinical thing also. From next session onwards, a better response is expected. And almost every Thursday, CVS will be dealt, and a Friday class, CNS will be dealt. So tomorrow topic will be CNS, and we'll be starting with higher mental functions and cranial nerves. Please come prepared and unmute yourself and answer the questions. Thank you. We'll end the session.